D.
Livid.
I would be, what did my grandmother say? I would be fit to be tied.
Fit to be tied. That's a
Fit
good
to be
one.
tied.
And I like that word livid. Ooh, that makes me
Livid.
livid.
My other favorite word is incandescent.
Incandescent.
I was incandescent. And when you think metaphorically that when someone is incandescent, you're like, oh my God, that person must have been so absolutely furious. They started to glow.
Hit the damn record.
Hit the damn record. See, we record something.
Hey, friend.
Hey, friend.
Welcome to the Unlikely Frenz Podcast,
Where two friends living abroad talk about race relations, and
how we feel about it, what it means to us,
everything in between.
and a little bit of gossip.
So, to all of our friends who are watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify, and follow us on Facebook, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you receive a new notification when we post up a new video. So, ding, ding, baby, ding, ding.
Ding a ding. So, how are you, friend?
I'm fine. How are you, friend?
Great. So good.
Yeah. I think that there is something that we need to talk about today, which
Please.
is quite near to my heart, or at least near to my community. What a lot of people don't know about, what we don't learn about in school, also what I didn't learn about in school, is the what happened in Tuskegee, Alabama, just after
Oh, yeah.
World War One. So today we're going to start a two-part conversation that we felt really needed space, because when this story gets rushed, it gets misunderstood.
Yeah. So from the beginning, they recruited 600 black men. It was only men, wasn't it?
It was only men, approximately. But before that, let's start at the beginning. So in 1932, the U.S. Public Health Service launched a study in Macon County, and I hope I'm saying that right. Macon County.
No. It's Macon.
Oh, is it Macon? Okay, there you go. In Macon County, Alabama.
And they recruited like 600 black men. Most of them were poor. They were sharecroppers, and they were treating them for something that they called, I think it was bad blood.
I mean, which isn't even a diagnosis. Bad blood.
No.
It was a what they. It's like a catch-all phrase for them. It's like, you know what? Because what they actually had, at least 399 of them, was syphilis.
And they were never told that. That was never explained to them. They didn't have any consent. There was no explanation as to why they had it, and there was no chance to not participate
Right.
in this.
The goal was to study and observe what happens when syphilis was untreated, which is horrible.
That's horrible. I mean, and why would you want to do that to humans? As a number one question, why would you do that?
Yeah. I mean, well, it doesn't make sense to us now, because we all know that in the 1940s, penicillin was invented. So,
Yeah. And it cured. I mean, it cured syphilis, didn't it?
yeah, it did. Of course. I mean, penicillin was like the wonder drug, if you will. It cured almost everything.
Yeah. I mean, and the researchers, I feel like they had a choice, you know. They could have using, just basic morals. They could have
Well, right,
stopped.
because
You know,
this
they had
wasn't
a
just passive. This just wasn't passive neglect. They actively prevented these men from accessing uh, care, either there
mhm,
or somewhere else.
mm,
It's
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how you could do that. I guess you just watch people get sicker. You watch them as their pain increased, as they, felt miserable all the time, as their bodies are breaking down.
and
You
not only
know,
that,
you,
men died. Not only did men die, but their
mm,
wives were infected, and then they
yeah,
passed
yeah,
this
yeah,
on to
yeah,
their children with
yeah, yeah, yeah.
congenital syphilis.
Hmm.
Mind blowing,
Yeah.
mind blowing.
And like they they were told, right? They were told that they were being helped during the study. They were told that whatever the researchers were doing was going to help them,
Hmm. Yeah.
which seems
This
wild.
wild, yeah, because the study went on for 40 years, Desma.
You're kidding.
40.
I didn't realize, I mean, I know things about it, but I didn't know that that was that long. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it ended in 1972. So that was literally 40 years, and that's when
Ah,
finally
yeah, 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 yeah,
the country
yeah. The
started to pay
whistleblowers.
attention what was going on, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm. And the whistleblowers, like they let them know in the press, right?
Absolutely. So, in the next segment, we're going to talk about something people often get wrong.
And that is the role that the John A. Andrews Memorial Hospital, how the trust was built, and how it was used and betrayed.
Because that part of history explains a lot about what came after.
If you like what you're seeing, if you like what you're hearing, like, share, and subscribe.
So in our last episode, we talked about what the Tuskegee study was. So now we're going to talk about and how it was leveraged.
And we're talking about mainly the John A. Andrew Memorial Hospital and how its role it was misunderstood.
Right. Okay. Well, the John A. Andrew Hospital was located on the. First of all, a lot of people don't know this, but it was actually the Tuskegee area was actually an institute. It was not only a hospital; it was also I think it was a school and a university there, but like a research center.
Mm, yeah, 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 yeah. And it was like the only place that during the Jim Crow South where Black people could be treated for
Right.
a variety of medical conditions.
And that mattered because this hospital was a source of pride, especially for Black folks, because it was a place of
Well,
care.
yeah, it would be.
Exactly. And it was a place where patients were actually seen.
Hmm. Hmm. But the hospital wasn't actually created for this study. It didn't have huge ties to this study, but it does have some ties.
Right. I mean, it wasn't built to exploit people, that
Right.
it became a bit entangled, if you will. So,
So, so how did it become entangled?
hmm
Um, Federal researchers were using the hospital facilities and leaning on their credibility and benefiting from the trust that the community had in them.
exactly. So, for some of the Black medical staff, um, were actually involved, but we don't know to what extent they were involved.
Mm,
But
mm,
often, without full information, and they were also under pressure from the federal government. Now, I will say from the federal government because even though it was a predominantly black university, it was still run administratively by white men. Just to put that caveat in there. So,
Well, that information, it matters a great deal
mhm,
because it wasn't local. Basically,
right,
the people that are doing this study, they were
right,
not local. They were not part of the
exactly,
community.
right. The
Hmm.
power was literally in the U.S. government that,
Hmm.
this wasn't black professionals harming their own people. So, just to put that out there.
Yeah, and it was a system. I mean, it basically decided that black suffering, it's totally acceptable if the data, if they had enough data, you
If they
know.
had enough data, exactly.
Yeah, and if it's good enough.
Well, they did apologize in 1997. So, the government formally apologized in 1997.
1997.
1997. Something
I
that
have to
started in
laugh because
1913.
I mean that's ridiculous. I mean, you can't, even if you apologize, it's you're not building the trust, especially especially if they haven't found anybody really that's held accountable for all of that.
Exactly. And that distrust doesn't disappear, especially within the black community. It just simply gets passed down. So,
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, and don't people say, uh why don't people say like why don't black people trust doctors? I mean,
exactly.
here it is.
There you
Here
go.
here you go.
Because uh, history has taught black communities that they could lie or they could do whatever they wanted to you and there would be
Hmm.
no repercussions whatsoever. So
Yeah, and your
that's
care
why a
is
lot of black people don't trust doctors.
and the care that you get would be, it's uh conditional, you know.
Absolutely, because the compliance doesn't mean safety.
You can still, I mean, you can still see that today, black patients are not always believed. They're less likely to give adequate medication for pain management, and their their diagnosis sometimes just comes too late.
Right, which brings us actually um, to the next conversation we had to have because this is very, very important.
And nowhere is this more deadly than the care for black women in hospitals.
So, in this segment, we're going to talk about black women.
And how the healthcare fails them even today.
Absolutely. Black women are more likely to die during pregnancy and in childbirth. Now, I don't know exactly what the statistic is, but I think black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth or pregnancy than white women in the United States.
And it doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're educated, uneducated, insured, not insured, how much money you have, if
Absolutely.
you're wealthy or you don't have a lot of money. It's across the board for black women.
Absolutely. Which tells us something quite important.
And that's not about access. It is about belief.
That's the magic word, belief. It is definitely about belief because for some reason, I don't know why. I mean, I heard this in my travels of life that once upon a time that doctors believed that black skin was thicker than white skin, and that we had tolerance for pain.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah. Yeah.
because they believe this, black women's pain is routinely minimized.
It's, I mean, they believe that it's, exaggerated and that black women feel less pain, and they're just stronger than white women in general, which is, I mean, it's crazy.
Right. So, when a black
It's
woman says that
crazy.
something is wrong,
Yeah. They're like, no, no,
they're
no, no.
always
You need to just wait, calm down.
exactly. Yeah.
Don't
Stop
be,
worrying.
don't be like screaming in the hospital. You're fine. Like,
Absolutely.
women that are in excruciating pain, women that have, I mean, there are reports of women losing their life because, like I said, the misdiagnosis just is just too late.
Yeah. Um, yeah, because for some reason, they're always told, like you said, calm down, stop worrying, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
There was
Mm-hmm.
recently a RN who actually held a doctorate degree in um, midwifery and child care and pregnancy and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And her
Mm-hmm.
name, and I'm going to say her name, everybody should say her name, is Dr. Janelle Green Smith. Say her name. She was a doctor, midwife, nurse, certified nurse in the United States, black woman, gave birth to her child but died of complications afterwards. Why? Because she was not believed about her pain, and she was also misdiagnosed. And this
Mm.
happens in the United States, and this was just last week. So we've seen this play out in childbirth. We've seen it
Yeah,
playing
yeah,
out in
yeah, yeah, yeah,
emergency
yeah, yeah.
rooms. We've seen it played out with chronic illness. We've seen it played out with mental
Mm-hmm.
care. It's almost like,
Mm-hmm.
when are we going to find an end to this?
Yeah, yeah. And no, no, you're just, oh, they're just being difficult.
It,
Like, you're
but
just being difficult.
I'm sorry, but
It's
self
ridiculous.
advocacy, it's survival at this point. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, the system is broken. We've seen that. It's played out like over and over and over. Um, that the key is for for Black women's health care is just not to listen by default.
Exactly. So we
You
see
just don't listen.
from just don't listen. So we see from Tuskegee, it didn't only affect men, it also affected women.
And families and wives and partners and children, and not to mention planted a seed uh, that now has grown into the way that women have to navigate like their own healthcare and medical services, you know?
Absolutely. So when black people say, I know my body, you
Hmm.
need to believe them.
Yeah, it's not just like it's not an attitude. It's a fact.
It's a fact, you know?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's the healing starts with listening. So
Yeah. Listening and learning. And listening isn't, it's a verb, you know? Um, it's not passive. Uh, it means believing, believing Black women really for the first time.
that's the key, for the first time, not
Hmm.
after complications, not after emergencies, and not
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
after
yeah, yeah.
it's too late. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
it
Hmm.
stands to reason.
Hmm. Because they've been telling us all along what the problem is. We just have to listen to it.
Exactly. So the question is whether the system is finally ready to hear it. Okay, friend.
Okay, friend. It was nice talking to you today and learning and talking and chatting.
Absolutely. It was nice to see you again. So, to all of our friends who are watching us on YouTube, listening to us on Spotify, and follow us on Facebook, please like, share, and subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you receive a new notification when we post up a new video. So, ding, ding, baby, ding, ding.
Ding a ding. And have a wonderful week.
Absolutely. Take care. Bye. Deuces.